Alright, this lesson is for the Hawaiian guitar class. Last time we did the blues, we did that. Okay, so last week we learned the pentatonic scale. We learned that pattern, the chord progression, and we also learned the arpeggios for each of those chords. Okay, this week we're going to break it down to what we call licks. What a guitar lick is those little phrase kind of things that you hear people playing between the chord progression. So our first lick is going to sound like this. So what that is okay, and the way we play that is we start off on the 4th string, 7th fret, with our 3rd finger. Okay, now we're going to slide in from 5 to 6 on the 3rd string with our 2nd finger, and back to that 7th fret of the 4th string, and then now we're going to walk down. Remember how we had that arpeggio, right? Where we went here? So that's exactly what we're going to do. 7, 6, 5. And then I'm going to put my finger out here. I'm going to put my pinky on the 8th fret. Okay? And I'm going to slide in with my ring finger from 6 to 7. And then I'm going to go back to 5. And I'm going to go down to the 3rd string, 7th fret, and then I'm going to slide in from 5 to 6. So okay, so that's my lick. Okay. Now once you know a lick, this is one of the things that I like to do. Once I know a lick, I like to try to find it all over the neck. And what I mean is not only playing it in the same place on the staff if you're looking at a sheet of music, but also to take it down an octave, bring it up an octave, and that way it becomes a movable shape that we can use throughout our playing. Okay, so let's look at some of the other ways we can play that. So I can play that same note over here. Okay, so that's an A note. It's on the second fret of the 3rd string. And then we're going to slide in from 1 to 2 on the 2nd string, and back to that 1st note, yeah? Okay. So we're walking down, we have the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, 2nd fret of the 2nd string, open 1st string, and then we're going to put our finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. So it sounds like that. Okay, now we're going to slide in from 1 to 2 on the 1st string, and then play it open, and we're going to go down to the 3rd fret of the 2nd string and slide into the 2nd fret. Okay, so it's the same lick. That's another place that we can play it at. Okay, so since we know it in 2 positions now, we should be able to move it around. Now the one that was down here, we used some open strings, but the open strings, we'll think of that nut here as our 1st finger, and we'll use each other finger to do it. So if I did it without using my 1st finger, right, I'd do it that way. Now I just changed that finger out for the nut, and I can move it up here. So instead of using our finger like a nut, there's another way we can do it too, and just play it as if each note were in and of themselves their own note. It's the same thing to go. Right? And so now I have a movable shape that I can move around to different strings. Okay, now let's take it down an octave. We're going to start at the 5th fret of the 6th string. What that is 2 times on the 5th fret. Now we're going to go down to the 5th string, and we're going to slide from 3 to 4, and back to that first one. Okay? And so what that was 5, 4, and on the same string, on the 5th string, I'm going to go up to the 7th fret. I use my pinky for that. And then now I'm going to go down to the 5th fret of the 4th string. Okay, and I'm using my middle finger for that. And I'm going to slide in to the 4th fret with my first finger. And that's on the 4th string as well. Alright, now I move back to the 5th string, 7th fret. Now I'm going to go to the 5th fret. So, okay. And then that, when I go to the 4th fret, I slide into it from the 3rd. Okay, now if we move that down 1 string, everything's the same. Okay, so we can do it there, but guess what that is? That's our D7 chord. So we can play that same lick for that. Okay, so if we can do it on the D, then that means we can do it on the E as well. We just have to shift it up a whole step, or 2 frets, right? So down here at the 5th fret it was. Now if we do that same thing, starting on this note, I've got a lick for all 3 of those chords. And I can play them back to back. But if we do that, then it's not going to really sound good, because it sounds like it's redundant and we're doing the same thing over. But in blues we have what's called a call and answer thing. So if I were to start off with okay, now the next note, I'm still on A. I might want to do something similar, but not quite the same thing. Okay, and that's just changing those notes around and making some longer than the other. And that's what your assignment is this week. You're going to take apart this lick. Put it in all the different positions. And I want you to come up with 5 licks of your own within these shapes. Okay? And so, even though I showed you 1 lick, that's a lot of licks, but you can go through and take this one phrase and make it your own. Okay? And so what you're going to do is try to break it down, come up with different things, but make sure that, because we're starting off, this lick is a root note lick, meaning the note is for, the first one was for A, right? So if we want to do it for D, we got to start on the D note. Okay? If we want to do it for E, we have to start on the E note. Right? We can start on the E note anywhere. So it can be this E. Alright, so if we really wanted to, now that we've moved it to this E, right, instead of this one, moved it down here, we can play it like that. Okay, and we could play it down there. But what you're wanting to do is just take this one lick, make 5 licks out of each of these licks, then move it around the fretboard. And then you're going to mix and match them throughout this blues progression. You can have a lot of fun with this this little 12-bar blues thing that we've been doing. And it can take you pretty far off of just that one lick. But what we're going to do is we're going to take apart the next lick. And then next week when I see you guys, we're going to use another lick. And we're going to do the same thing we just did with this lick, but we're going to use it, it'll be a different starting note rather than the root. We'll start maybe on the 3rd or the 5th. We might even start on a note that's not part of the chord. So that way we can get some different sounding licks out of it. Hopefully you guys had a great Christmas and a Happy New Year. and I will see you guys next time I see you. Aloha.